Still gonna wait for a couple people to get in here. Still, baby, you already know this big boss house about start. They poke through the door. Hit the top this boxing, man. The boy doing a surprise little stream. We're gonna talk about whatever y'all want to talk about, man. You know. But we're gonna keep it a stack. We're also gonna highlight the fact that when you get that pound for pound title, that means you fight the best fighters. All right. Of course, we're talking about Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is a fighter who is looked at as pound for pound. He's looked at as the best, right? Especially at 147. But he has not lived up to that status with fighting the fights that he's fought. You know what I mean? His recent fight against David Evanesian, prime example of what I be talking about. This is not hate. This is factual information. He has not fought those fights to keep that pound for pound title, right? And he's done nothing but continue to fight lower level competition and not live up to that moniker. So what we're gonna do is today, we're gonna look at Terence Crawford's record, right? We're also gonna look at a lot of things he's doing that a pound for pound fighter should not be doing, right? So those you don't know, I'm Bounceout K. Poke through the door, here to talk this boxing. Subscribe to the channel, buckle up. A lot of y'all finna be mad, but it is what it is. You have Terence Bud Crawford, who is a fighter who, one of my favorite fighters, personally, in the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? He fights at 147 pounds. He's fought at the weight classes of 135, 140, and 147. Okay? He's won titles at 135. He became undisputed at 140. And he has one belt at 147. Right? He has 39 wins, 30 KOs. Right? He started his pro debut on April 3rd, 2008. Right? He's 5'8", with a 74 reach advantage. And he's from Omaha, Nebraska. Right? Okay, a fighter that's looked at as the best fighter, right? In a lot of people's eyes, not my eyes, but in a lot of people's eyes, he's looked at as the best fighter in boxing, period. I just question that right now because of the level of talent he's been fighting, right? Yeah, excuse me, I'm trying to keep my voice down. You know, my kids sleep. My wife, you know, she laying down. So, you know, I'm not trying to get too animated, but like I said, we're doing this surprise stream. We're going to do another one tomorrow. And this ain't going to be too long. Now, Terence Crawford, when he moved up to 147 pounds, his first fight was against Jeff Horn, who at the time was 18-0-1. He fought Jeff Horn on June 9th, 2018, right? That's when he moved up to 147 pounds. He fought Jeff Horn for the WBO championship at 147 pounds, okay? Which we all knew when he was going to fight Jeff Horn, he was going to beat Jeff Horn. We all knew that what that fight was going to entail, you know. Not me personally, I would have liked for him to fight Pacquiao, but Jeff Horn beat Pacquiao, right? Beat Pacquiao, became the WBO champion, okay? Now, when Terence Crawford moved up, his eyes were set on Keith Thurman, just like a lot of people's at the welterweight division, eyes were set on Keith Thurman, okay? Keith Thurman at the time was a unified champion, right? He was the #1 welterweight at that time. He was the hot topic at that time, right? Keith Thurman, that'd be Danny Garcia, Sean Porter. He had some notable wins under his belt, right? And he was a very sought after fighter at that time. And that's the one that Terence Crawford called out publicly in the ring and said he wanted a Keith Thurman fight, right? We're gonna make this all make sense in a minute. But Terence Crawford moves up, fights Jeff Horn, beats him by technical knockout, right? Okay, becomes the WBO champion at 147 pounds, right? So when I hear somebody say, oh, he's been calling out Errol Spence for 5 years, right? And he's saying, oh, I've been wanting to fight Errol for 5 years. We have to call cap on that. Now, he has said, you know, in certain situations that he wanted to fight Errol. Hasn't been 5 years, okay? Because if I'm not mistaken, from what I'm looking at this date, he moved up June 9th, 2018. That's when he fought Jeff Horn. It's 2022. Now, if my math is wrong, you know, that's 4 years. You know what I mean? But granted, like I said, he was not, Errol Spence was not on Terence Crawford's radar, okay, at that particular time. Okay? And also to add that to the argument, Terence Crawford was signed to Top Rank at that time, okay? His next fight was against Jose Benavidez Jr. later that year, June 13th, 2018, okay? He also fought him at 147 pounds. Jose Benavidez Jr. at the time was 27-0, right? Terence Crawford stopped him in the 12th round with closing seconds left. Now, in my opinion, it was a pretty close fight, in my opinion, at that particular time until Terence Crawford was able to get him out of it. I did think Terence Crawford was winning the fight, but it was a pretty close fight, right? But we look at Jose Benavidez Jr., that was his first time moving up to 147 pounds, first time fighting over 140. And, you know, people didn't really look at Jose Benavidez Jr. as a welterweight that was going to make noise, you know, that he was going to knock off some top people. Like I said, right now, we just going down Terence Crawford's resume, okay? Right? So Jose Benavidez Jr. is the one he fought October 13th, 2018. He was 27-0, right? Fought Terence Crawford on one leg. What's good with you, Dave? You know, happy belated Merry Christmas. But I fought Jose Benavidez Jr., right? One leg. And it was a pretty close fight, in my opinion. You know, I had Terence Crawford winning the fight, but it was very close. But he ended up knocking him out too. 12th round, okay? I'm going to make this all make sense in a minute, okay? He then fights again next year, April 20th, 2019, against Amir Khan, okay? Amir Khan at that time was 33-4, right? So he had 33 wins, 4 losses, no draws, okay? That was a sketchy win. I think Amir Khan quit, you know? Amir Khan also was coming off of that knockout loss against Canelo, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, I lied. He was coming off a shaky win against Sammy Vargas before he fought Terence Crawford, right? He almost got knocked out by Sammy Vargas. Now, Sammy Vargas is a fighter. If y'all don't know who he is, he's a fighter that Errol Spence fought. He's a fighter that Danny Garcia fought. He's that fighter that when you have a prospect, you put them in there with. Why? Because he's tough. But like I said, that's all he is tough. He ain't a fighter that's gonna win a championship, and he's none of that. Exactly, Dave. So after the Amir Khan fight, you know, after Amir Khan quit, Terence Crawford fights later that year, December 14th, 2019, against Aegis Kavaliauskas, Mean Machine, who was 21-0-1. Now, Mean Machine was giving Bud them hands. We're not going to lie. You know, he also dropped Bud, but they didn't count it, right? Now, Mean Machine, before he fought Terence Crawford, came off a majority draw against Ray Robinson, right? Which I feel like Ray Robinson won that fight. And if Ray Robinson would have won that fight, he most likely would have got a Terence Crawford fight, right? But they had it come to a draw, right? So it comes to a draw. Mean Machine gets in there with Terence Crawford. And, you know, Terence Crawford was being stubborn in that fight. That was a fight that Terence Crawford could have made easier, but he wanted to sit there and fight a certain way in southpaw, and he was continuing to get caught by that overhand right against Mean Machine. But he ended up doing what he needed to do and getting Mean Machine out of there, right? Next fight against Kell Brook, which was November 14th, 2020. What's good, Ox Steel? November 14th, 2020. Okay. Kell Brook at that time was 39-2, right? So Terence Crawford, Bud Buddy would tell you, that Kell Brook was on a 5-fight win streak. Okay. Kell Brook last time fighting 147 pounds was against Errol Spence Jr. Okay. After that, lost to Errol Spence Jr., he fought at over 147 pounds against Sergey Rabchenko, Mike Zarafa, and then Mark DeLuca before coming in there and fighting against Terence Crawford, right? So I had someone to tell me, he's on a 5-fight win streak when I'm looking at it's only 3, okay? And they were shaky wins in itself, right? So, and I'm just naming these guys on Terence Crawford's resume, right? These are the guys at welterweight, okay? So, Kell Brook, exactly. I was just finna say that. Kell Brook, right? Came back down to 147 pounds to fight Terence Crawford. Did not have his trainer, right? He got a trainer off Instagram. His own trainer was like, hey, bro, we need more time, right? We need more time. We need more time to prepare. You shouldn't take this fight on short notice. Kell Brook still took the fight, right? Got his trainer off Instagram. Looked in shape, but he did look a little drained. Got in there and was good with your big dose. Much respect to you. Shout out to you and your family. Shout out to Cincinnati, man. It's all love. Got in there, and truthfully, he was giving Bud them hands. I ain't gonna lie to you. Swole up Bud eye, exactly, Dave. Swole up Bud's eye. But then next thing you know, he get caught flush with a punch and he quit. So Amir Khan and Kell Brook just quit. Like, you know what I mean? And this is somebody who been in that ring. I'm telling you this. They just quit. They could have kept fighting, but they quit. You know what I mean? They got caught flush with a shot. Ah, man, I don't want this no more, and quit. Exactly. Film study, great point. Triple G was landing power. Triple G is a power puncher. And Kell Brook took those punches from Triple G, but you get hit flush by Terence Crawford and you just quit. Make that make sense. Triple G crushed the other side of Kell Brook's eye socket, right? It took that. I don't think he took a dive, Dave. But crushed his eye socket, right? He kept fighting. Bud catch him with a jab, exactly, film study, and it's a wrap. That's what I'm saying. Like I said, I've been in that ring, bro. Big Doe said the fight hasn't happened yet because Bud don't want L to get that last belt and become an even bigger star of whooping him. That'll kill Bud. Exactly. Kell Brook was a shot fighter. And you know what? All you gotta do is go look at the Amir Khan versus Kell Brook press conference, and you'll see when Bomac, who was the coach of Amir Khan, sat there and said that Kell Brook was a shot fighter. Yeah, Bud versus Danny would be a good fight. The next fight. Exactly. The next fight, Sean Porter. He fought him 11, which was November 20th, 2021. Sean Porter at that time was 31-3-1. Sean Porter was I see you, Big Dose. Sean Porter was coming off of a unanimous decision against Sebastian Formella. A fighter he should have got out of there. We're gonna be real. A fighter that Sean Porter should have smoked. Now, granted, he won majority of the rounds, but you know he looked a little off. He looked a little shaky. You know what I mean? In that fight, in my opinion. Not saying I'm right, but against Sebastian Formella, Sean Porter should have knocked him out. He should have stopped him. Okay? You know, he looked a little shaky to me in that fight. Okay? So going into the Terence Crawford fight, Sean Porter was a fighter who Terence Crawford didn't want to fight. He even admitted publicly, I didn't want to fight Sean Porter. This is something that Bud Crawford said himself. I didn't want to fight him. Right? Which ties into the whole fact of at that time when they was trying to say, hey, man, we want you to fight Bud Crawford. We want you to fight Bud Crawford. And Sean Porter called him and said, man, we might have to fight. First and foremost, you know, that let you know that neither one of them wanted to fight nobody. They ain't want to fight each other. You know what I mean? That's just the honest truth. Because Sean Porter didn't call Errol Spence. Was like, hey, man, we might have to. No. Sean Porter hired Barry Hunter, a Hall of Fame coach, to be in his corner. Sean Porter was eager and motivated to beat Errol Spence, right? That same energy was not reciprocated when he was in there with Bud Crawford. Film study said Porter said I was gonna tell my dad I wanted to retire after the Spence fight. Okay, Big Doe said one thing a lot of people don't really talk about is the difference in coaching, bro, man. You doing good. James, get low, hit him with the right hook to the body, then come across to the top of the straight. Exactly. See, Derek James is a teacher. Derek James is a teacher. That's the difference. Bo Mac is just there. Are you doing good, bud? Listen to the difference in the corners. Bo Mac don't really give any advice to Bud. No, man, just let Bud do his thing, man. I think it's a tougher fight if that Sean Porter that fought Errol Spence fought Bud Crawford. That same Sean Porter that showed up to fight Errol Spence was in there with Bud Crawford. It's a tougher fight. I think it's a closer fight. And truthfully, I honestly believe that Sean Porter could get the nod in that fight. You know what I mean? Bud looked a little uncomfortable against Sean Porter. That's just what I saw. I saw a lot of things that Sean Porter was forcing Bud Crawford to do that Bud Crawford didn't like and was uncomfortable with. Hey, what's up? What's up, Chef? What's good with you? Much respect to you, man. Mary, what's this post Christmas? You know what I mean? Hope you and your family had a good one, man. Real deal spirit. You know, we doing a little late live stream, you know. I said I was gonna do one on Christmas, but I was busy, so you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, man, I need to do these more often. You know. I need to do this more often where we can really talk boxing. Sean's supposed to beat Crawford the way he mauled Paulie. He could have set Bud with that pressure. Exactly. Like I said, the Sean Porter that showed up against Errol, that wasn't Sean Porter, bro. That I saw. That was a shell of himself. Everybody Bomac has coached with the exception of Bud that the same level professional has gotten whooped. Exactly. You look at the list of fighters that Bomac represented, they lost. You know what I mean? That's just facts. But Terence Crawford fights Sean Porter, and Sean Porter, in my opinion, looks like he quit. Now Terence Crawford got the knockout, but barbecue workers. But he quit. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? Got frustrated. He was jumping. He was lunging in on Terence Crawford, not stepping behind his punches. It was a lot of things wrong that I normally don't see Sean Porter doing that he did that fight. You know what I mean? I never really seen Sean Porter lunge in on anybody. He was lunging in, chin high. It was just a lot of mistakes he was making. That was due to him I don't think really taking his training seriously in preparation for this fight. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. Like I said before, I still hold my stance. If the Sean Porter that showed up for Errol Spence was in there with Bud Crawford, it'd be a tougher fight. You know what I mean? Bud probably would have stopped. Terence. Sean Porter would have probably stopped Terence Crawford. I'm gonna stand here and stand on that and say that on my, on my live. If the Sean Porter that showed up for Errol Spence was in there with Terence Crawford, he probably would have stopped Terence Bud Crawford. Yeah, I seen that, and that's why I say he quit. I don't think the passion and desire was there against Terence Crawford, like it was for Errol, in my opinion. But let's get back. Right now, I want y'all to pay attention to these dates. November 14, 2020, Terence Crawford fought Kell Brook. Exactly. The pressure wasn't the same again. Like I said, against Errol Spence, Sean Porter was relentless, right? Sean Porter was, he was taking shots to deliver shots, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So he was taking a shot, to deliver his shot, to get his work. So if he getting caught with one shot, he gonna throw 3 shots. You know what I mean? Like that's what he was doing against Errol Spence. Whereas against Bud Crawford, he was just making a lot of mistakes that, like I said, he wouldn't normally make. You know what I mean? Like Shawn Porter is not a very strong power puncher or anything like that, but he's very technical. You know what I mean? In my opinion, you know, he's very technical in the sense of his technique and keeping his chin down. You know, he was just making a lot of amateur mistakes. You know what I mean? Like stuff that you see, you know, guys on amateur boxing level make at times, you know, when they get tired and stuff like that. Shawn Porter normally keeps that chin down. He normally steps behind his punches. He normally, you know what I'm saying, uses lines and angles pretty well to apply pressure. He knows how to cut the ring off, stuff like that. He just wasn't doing it to this full effect with Terrence Crawford. And it wasn't really nothing Terrence Crawford was doing. It was just the lack of, you know what I mean? Because Shawn Porter was doing podcasts and broadcasts and all this other stuff. You know, he was on TV. He was everywhere. And we like, do you have a fight with Bud Crawford? But against Errol Spence, you didn't see Shawn Porter until media day. You know, unless you watch that, you know, behind the scenes Showtime stuff where they, you know, talk about both fighters, or thanks to Errol Spence and Shawn Porter when their fight was going on. But it's Terrence Crawford. Shawn Porter was everywhere. Like Walmart. That boy was on TV every 5 minutes. You know, broadcasting fights, doing all this stuff. He wasn't locked in, bro. You know what I mean? And that's why he had the performance he had against Terrence Crawford. Now, Terrence Crawford's last fight against David Avanesian, right? Now, I want y'all to pay attention to these dates. Where it just passed, well, it was like 2 weeks ago, December 10, 2022. He fought David Avanesian, who was 29-3-1, right? Now, David Avanesian was supposed to fight somebody else, right? He was supposed to have a fight with somebody else. So he was already scheduled to fight in November, okay? So, you know, the Bud Brothers will sit there and tell you, oh, well, David Avanesian, you know, he wasn't available. He had a fight set up for him to fight, okay? And Terrence Crawford sat there and went ahead and tried to go make a fight with this man, right? So it's like I just gave y'all the list of everybody that Terrence Crawford fought at 147 pounds. Which one of those fighters was an elite fighter? Which one of those fighters were top fighters at that time? Right? My thing is this. Terrence Crawford is deemed pound for pound. Not on my list, but on a lot of people's list. On majority of everybody's list. He's deemed as the guy, the head honcho, the number one dude in all boxing, right? That's how they look at Terrence Crawford. So they looked at him as that guy. Why is he fighting the level of competition that he's fighting if he's that guy? That's the question that I've always had, okay? Like I said, I've been a Terrence Crawford fan for the longest, but I've always questioned his desire to fight the best because neither of those guys I just named, hey, that's a good point, Dave. Neither of those guys I just named were top fighters at the time Terrence Crawford fought them. Right? Terrence Crawford fought 2 opponents that Errol Spence fought. But the time that Errol Spence fought those opponents, they were top fighters. Right? Which was Kell Brook, who was an IBF champion, who was undefeated at welterweight. And then Errol Spence also fought Shawn Porter, who was the WBC champion at that time, who was on the top of his game. Okay? At the time Terrence Crawford fought them, Hey man, that's what I'm saying, bro. He talking about Ndongo. He said he'll knock out Ndongo. But that's what I'm saying, man. Like we just here to call. We just here to call a spade, man. You can't sit here and look at Terrence Crawford and say he ain't running for no smoke. That's the whole point of this video. If you look at resumes, if you look at who's fighting who, right? You look at like Errol Spence, his resume, right? Does his resume or anything in him signify that he's ducking? No. You look at Sean Porter's resume, he's retired, but does that resume show anything about, oh, he's ducking? You look at Danny Garcia's resume, right? You look at Keith Thurman's resume. You look at your Dennis Uga's resume. All of those resumes are better than Terrence Crawford's resume. He's fighting better competition. They're fighting better competition than Terrence Crawford, right? But Terrence Crawford is still deemed pound for pound #1. I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense. You're not fighting those fights to where we can sit there and solidify you as that person. You get what I mean? As that guy, that head honcho, that dude that's the pinnacle #1 guy in the sport of boxing. I don't understand how we can sit there and look at Terrence Crawford and say that's it. Yeah, he has skill. But if I'm in there with somebody that's not on my level, I can do some things in there. And I'm talking to the dudes who've been in that ring before. A lot of y'all who've been in that ring with guys who ain't on your level. Man, you can do a whole bunch of stuff in there. When you get in there with a guy that's on your level or above your level, it's different. He ain't going for no stuff that, you know what I mean? I don't know if y'all know. It's been times I spawn and I throw that Canelo, where Canelo throw the jab hand up in the air and hook to the body. I've done that with guys who ain't on my level. But guys that's on my level, let me try to do that. Or guys that's better than me, let me try to do that. You know what I mean? It's different. When you in there with killers, it's different. You got to build your P's and Q's or it's a wrap. Errol Spence said it best the other day. They asked him. They said, you don't believe in tune-ups. Why is that? He said, because when I'm in there with a guy that's on my level or elite, make me train harder. Also, I feel like I'm the best fighter in the world, so it makes me level up. That's the energy that you need to have. I don't see that from Bud Crawford. He says stuff like, oh, yeah, I'm the best fighter in the world. But when it's time to get in that ring, you pick David Ebenezer. You fighting Jeff Horn. You fighting Jose Benavidez Jr. You fighting Mean Machine. You fighting Amir Khan. You fighting Kell Brook. You fighting a beat up Sean Porter who you admitted you didn't want to fight. These are the fighters that you fighting. Right? Terrence Crawford was the face of Top Rank. Exactly. You were the face of Top Rank. Terrence Bud Crawford was the face of Top Rank, right? So he had a lot of say-so, a lot of pull, right? Manny Pacquiao was gone, right? So Terrence Crawford was the senior fighter on Top Rank, right? Forget Lomachenko. Terrence Crawford was the guy at Top Rank. Why didn't he force these fights to happen? Why didn't he go and Bob Officer said, look, I don't want to fight this boy. Give me Errol Spence. I ain't fighting nobody until I get Errol Spence. I'm not fighting nobody till I get Keith Thurman. I ain't fighting nobody till I get Sean Porter. I ain't fighting nobody till I get Ugas. Why wasn't that? Why didn't he do that? They sat there and told him, hey, bro, you gonna fight Mean Machine. Okay, cool. He was content with that. Never went in there and forced any issues. He was content with that, right? But then he's continuing to push this narrative. Oh, PBC didn't want to fight. Nobody wanted to fight me. It doesn't make sense. Dave said when he fought Jose Benavidez, he was charging up Benavidez, but never has that energy with a nigga with two legs. Hey, that's facts. That's facts. Man, I remember the Benavidez, and I'm going to get back on topic. I remember the Benavidez. He charged Benavidez up at his media day. Also, he charged Benavidez up. I think Benavidez had another fight coming up. He was weighing in. And I never forget this. Terence Crawford told that boy, focus on your fight for you not make it to your fight. I said, oh. At that time, I'm like what I'm seeing. I'm like, okay, Terence Crawford he really about that. That's why I shouldn't have been shocked because I'm looking, now I'm looking at his track record. I'm looking at the caliber. We just named his resume, right? When he pulled out of this fight with Errol Spence, at the time I was shocked. I ain't think he was going to do that. I ain't think neither one of us was going to do that. I thought this fight was going to get made. Truthfully, right? Yeah, he don't. But it's just like, I thought that this fight was going to get made. I thought we was going to get the best fight in boxing. These dudes was going to get paid. This was going to define the legacy of both these fighters who was going to become the undisputed champion, 147 pounds. What is the hype around Bud Crawford really real, or is it smoke and mirrors? This decides all that. And then this boy go pull out, he pull out a fight with Errol to go fight David Evanesian. You know what I mean? And this is the thing. Not a fighter that was open. They didn't have no fights. No, he went and got a fighter who had a fight. Let's pay attention to that. David Evanesian was, and I'm trying to keep my voice down. My wife and them, they trying to sleep. David Evanesian. Exactly. David Evanesian had a fight. Terence Crawford pulled that man from his fight and fought him. Who was available at that time? He didn't have to pull out negotiations with Errol. He could have called Boots. Boots is not signed to PBC. What's good with you? What's good with you? Salute to you. Boots is not signed to PBC. Boots has a partnership with Showtime. He could have called Boots. Hey, man, I need an opponent. I want to get a fight in. What's up? Didn't get a call. Virgil Ortiz. Hey, man, what's up? I need an opponent. Never called that man. Although you got people on his team, Bernie, talking about they did call him. But then Bud said something different. You see what I'm saying? What's good with you, BC? These are the things that I'm talking about. Why we on his head like that. Exactly. Boots been saying, bro, I'll go fight you in Omaha, Nebraska on Black Prime. Boots and them been saying, they said that like in an interview. So these are the things that I talk about, man. When I bring up, when you pound for pound, it's no tune-ups. Errol Spence, we got to use him because prime example. Fly out of a car. Hit the pavement. Don't know if he going to fight again. Come back, fight Danny Garcia. We gonna keep it a stack. When I found out he was gonna go far ahead and fight Danny Garcia coming off the car accident, I said, I don't know, man. It might be too much. I had now if Errol Spence didn't get in that accident, I had no doubt in my mind he would Danny Garcia. You know what I mean? I just didn't know how healthy he was. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, maybe he should take like a light touch, then go fight Danny Garcia. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. Coming off that accident, that's a life altering type of thing. He get in there with Danny and beat the brakes off of him at less than 50%. Even said, why would Black Prime not try to get Errol to come to the network for the Doug Crawford fight? Why should Errol Spence have to go to Black Prime to fight on their network when is rumored that they just paid all their fighters for their fights? Errol Spence is the A side. Errol Spence fought better competition. Errol Spence got 3 belts that he took from people. You know what I mean? And he ain't took for no weak fighters either. These are dudes he had to, he had to go to war with Sean Porter. He had to go to war with Kell Brook. And he dominated Ugas. Took Ugas' will from him. Now, I don't know what else I need, and you're right. Dave said it best. Al Heyman ain't gonna let that happen, man. That's facts, man. They had them niggas chicks on their way, man. What's good, George? They had them boys chicks. You know how back in the day used to write a check. Hey, don't cash the check until, the 15th. That's what they did with a lot of them niggas chicks. Hey, don't cash this check, man, till the 15th. That's what they did with their chicks, man. You know what I mean? But Errol Spence fought Danny Garcia. Beat the brakes off Danny Garcia. Beat the brakes off Danny Garcia, man. Finna fight Pacquiao. Detach retina. Come off of that. Fight Ugas. Right? Ugas beats Pacquiao, right? Fight Ugas. Beat the doors off Ugas. Want to smoke with Terence Crawford. And I'm telling you what made Terence Crawford a little hesitant to make this fight. And Bud is going to get mad, but I don't care. That Ugas fight. If y'all remember, when Terence Crawford was sitting on that couch with Keyshawn Davis and Errol Spence called out Terence Crawford just sat there. Yeah, I know. Terence Crawford sat there, bro. Didn't move, nothing. Didn't get up and start shadowboxing, nothing. If a dude called me out, another top fighter calls me out, I'm getting up, I'm shadowboxing, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Especially if this is a fighter, because I remember prior to that, Terence Crawford's calling Errol Spence all kind of names, talking about he looking for him. He in the ocean looking for this nigga, talking about where you at, Mr. Big Fish, all that. Like, bro, we're going to keep it a stack. That's what he was doing. Calling Errol out his name, all type of stuff. Now it's time to fight. And you pull out. He pull out. Boy, pull out, man. He'll pull out king, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to keep this clean because I thought of something. All I'm saying, bro, at the end of the day, man, when you the best, you fight the best fighters. That's all I'm saying. Exactly. 2 millions. He talking about he went for 10 million. Matter of fact, I don't even care if they was offering him 10 million. You was gonna make more money fighting Errol anyway. You was gonna make more money fighting Errol Spence anyway, bro. But Bud don't see that. Bud don't see that, man. And that's why I say if I'm Errol, man, I go do my own thing. Cause Bud Crawford, man, he like that. He that hood nigga that you can never get him to see reality. You know what I'm saying? His ego in the way and all that stuff. From Errol, I go to 154. Now, like I said, part of me still want Errol to fight him because I want Errol to smash that boy. Not gonna lie to you. And it's the biggest fight in boxing to this day. You know what I'm saying? But it's losing a lot of steam because of Bud Crawford and the politics. You know what I'm saying? But truthfully, it's just Bud Crawford. Dave said, need to boycott Black Pound for giving Bud an escape route. Facts. And George said, I still want to fight him so he can break all Bud fans' heart. They have been talking too much. And let me tell you something about the Bud buddies, man. Yeah, they did give him an out because he was looking for it. If you really wanted to fight, I'm just gonna say this like this, and Dave, you might be able to relate to this. On any level, if you really want to fight a guy, you gonna fight that dude. You know what I'm saying? If it's another guy on the amateur level, right? That's a top dude in your weight class, and you want to fight him, you're gonna fight him. There's nothing nobody else can. They can't come to you and be like, "Hey, man, you can fight this dude right here. It's a lighter touch, and you know it's at a bigger venue, or you know it's in a venue in your hometown. You know, so you may feel more comfortable. Man, I want to smoke with him because this is gonna define if I'm the best fighter. This is gonna settle the score between who's the best at our weight class. This what this is about, bro. Legacy. Bud Crawford don't care about his legacy. BC said, nah, Hog, Errol want them orbitals. Plus, Errol been consistent for years saying he wanted to be welterweight street champ. I respect it. Nah, I agree. You know what I mean? Like I said, I wouldn't be mad at Errol Spence if he, you know what I'm saying? He a man. He a grown man. So if he sit there, he say he still wants to smoke with Bud Crawford, hey, you know what I mean? Like I said, part of me still want to see that fight. I'm just looking at the business perspective, and I see Bud Crawford. You know, he's stubborn. He that dude that you can't. You could sit there and paint the perfect picture for this nigga and show him like, hey, bro, this is how much money you gonna make. Da da da. He's still gonna be like, nah, man. That's Bud. You know what I mean? So I don't know if this fight get made. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I still think. Yeah, it ain't. I just don't see it. It's his ego, man. He like a the nigga don't listen. Like that's all I can say, man. I just be looking. And I don't understand. Like he don't listen, bro. Like, and he just gonna keep talking. And the thing that kills me is, bro, it was quiet when Bud Crawford ducked Errol Spence. Right? I ain't see a lot of Bud buddies. This nigga knock out David Evanesian. All these boys coming out the woodwork, they celebrate. Oh yeah, man, he'll whoop Errol. Y'all celebrating this dude knocking out somebody that's trash. He knocked out a trash fighter. The boy is not on Errol level. He ain't on Bud level. He ain't even on Boots level. Boots can get in there and smash that boy. Yeah, I'm talking about David Evanesian. David Evanesian had a fight scheduled. They were supposed to fight for an IBO belt. That's a made up belt. Exactly. That's all I'm saying. At the end of the day, man, when you the best, you fight the best. And that's on any level, bro. You know what I mean? Somebody came to me and was like, hey, man, look, This is the best, 178-pounder in your class, 175 in your class, man. Um, you know, he the best, but you got this other dude right here, man, like he ain't the best, and you may look invincible fighting him, so which one? Man, I want that dude that's the best. Why? Because I feel like I'm the best. So let's fight, let's settle the scope. That's what you do. You know what I mean? But I wanna tie this into Floyd Mayweather. I made videos saying this. Floyd Mayweather, when he fought Arturo Gatti, was moving up, right? Floyd Mayweather knew he was the better fighter. When you become a businessman, it's conflicting towards you being a warrior. Mm-hmm. When Floyd Mayweather fought Arturo Gatti, he understood, I'm not the A side in that. I'm not. He took B side money, fought Arturo Gatti, beat the brakes off of that boy. Why? Because he knew he was gonna beat him, right? Because Terence Crawford said he believed in his skills. We're going off what he's saying. I believe in my skills. I believe I'm the best fighter in the world. Cool. Actions need to match that then. Okay. And this is what I mean. This is what I'm getting into. When you say you're the best fighter, right? But you're not making, as far as sales and your fights and everything, A side money, but Errol Spence is. But you feel like you way better than Errol, you take that B side money and you get in there. And if you feel like you better than Errol, you beat the brakes off of him, you come undisputed champion of the world. You show the world that you're the best fighter. But Bud don't think like that. Bud thinks that, oh man, I did this 140 pounds. I did this at 135, 126, all this other stuff that don't got nothing to do with 147 pounds. Right? All this stuff he bringing up now. But when Errol Spence was focused on getting the belts on, from the people he was getting the belts from, Bud Crawford was holding to the stance of Errol Spence ducking me. Errol Spence is afraid of me. Errol Spence is a coward. Errol Spence don't want to fight me. None of the PBC dudes want to fight me. They come up with size of the street, the excuses of size of the street. Bud Crawford, you came up with an excuse when you sat there and you start bringing up judges. You start bringing up money. If you feel like you better than Errol and you know in your heart that you're better than Errol Spence, fight him. Take the fight, sign the contract, and beat him. This will solidify your legacy. This will prove that all the hype that is around you is real. But you want to know why he ain't do that? Because he know Errol Spence real. He know what's coming with that. He know he ain't coming out this fight unscathed. Even if he win this fight, he probably gonna retire after this. I'm telling you, he's not coming out this fight unscathed. Errol breaking something. That's what it is. Something gonna be broke. Everybody that fight Errol Spence be gone. Look at Ugas. Ugas fought Errol in April. This boy still ain't back in the ring. He just got cleared. You know what I mean? Just to even train again and spar. I'm telling you. Bud know that, man. He know that. And when I mean he know that, somebody in his camp, because Bud Crawford is stubborn, is telling him, man, you need to get all the money you can get. Because he know when it's fight time, he know what's coming. Derrick James and Errol Spence. This ain't finna be easy for that boy. BC said Doug Crawford trying to starve Errol out so he can go to 154. It's not gonna work though. I believe so, but what's gonna happen is if Errol dropped them belts 154, Terrence Crawford probably won't have a chance to become undisputed. You see what I'm saying? He probably won't have the opportunity to become an undisputed champion at 147 pounds because them belts gonna get sprinkled everywhere. And it's all gonna be on PBC side. So then what? They might get Boots a belt. You know, the WBA belt, they can do whatever they want with that. And the IBF belt, you know what I mean? The WBC belt, they can do whatever they want with that. They can get that Keith Thurman. Had Keith Thurman fight for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now what? Bud Crawford, best bet man to make this fight. Because I'm telling you, if Errol go to 154, Bud Crawford might as well just retire. Because he's not going to become undisputed at 154 pounds. I mean, 147, my bad. You know what I mean? Now, like I said, if I'm Errol, I think about the possibility of going 147 pounds because Bud Crawford, the businessman, like, in order for this fight to happen, Bud going to have to get a promoter, which nobody's lining up to sign him right now. And they going to have to do, you know, the negotiations. But if Bud Crawford is not signing nobody or he don't hire nobody to represent him, this fight not getting made, bro. Because he already done burned the bridge with Al Heyman. He already, man, he didn't so much money on the table, man, that he done lost. So it's the principle of the whole thing, man. When you the best, you fight the best. Period. You know what I mean? But my bad, y'all. It's 2:40 in the morning. But what y'all want to talk about tomorrow, man? Y'all post in the chat, man. You know, I'm gonna start going live. This is a little bit more easier than the, you know, because you know people understand, man. When you do this YouTube, you gotta come up with the content. You know what I mean? You know. So we're gonna be back on here tomorrow, man. Well, today. We're gonna be back on here today, man. We're gonna talk about some more. You know, I'm ready for a Bud Buddy to get on here. That's what I'm waiting on so we can cook them boys. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. But, you know, hope y'all really enjoyed y'all Christmas, man. You know, hope all of y'all got what y'all need, what y'all wanted for Christmas. You know, I enjoyed my Christmas, spent time with the family. It's all good, man. But I'm going to get back on here later today. I'm going to drop the time. I'm going to post the time, man. BC said, talk about the division right now because of Doug Crawford going to Black Prime later today, family. I would do that. We'll definitely do that, man. We're going to stay on these boys' neck, man. I'm going to suffocate them. That's the whole point of the game. You know what I mean? See, these Bud Buddies, they like to talk in the comment section, but then when you get on these lives, man, they don't want to come in here. You know what I mean? You know, we don't run for no smoke on my channel. But, you know, hope all is well for y'all, man. You know, your boy finna go ahead and lay it down for the night. And, you know, I'm going to go back live later. So y'all be easy, all right?